Good day. My name is Alan Ralston, and this is my video response to Claude Huard's short film, The Bullying Addiction. I found the short film interesting. It reminded me more of what I experienced as a youth more than what I've seen since I've been an adult in a workplace, for example. In Claude's movie, he had a group of people who were acting as bullies in concert. I didn't experience it that way as a youth. I saw it more as one physically dominating person who would bully me as an individual, not so much as a group. My father, I had conversations with my dad about this. He tells me in the 30s and 40s, a bully usually was one guy. He would pick on somebody, and usually the group, if that smaller person was a member of a group of friends, the group of friends would usually eventually accost the bully and beat the bully senseless, and that would put an end to it. In my youth, that wasn't acceptable. We weren't allowed to beat up a bully. And as long as the bully did this outside the awareness of parents, they could get away with it. But they couldn't bully you when parents were around. That was the difference, I guess, when I was a kid. Although I did physically assault two bullies who were bothering me. I couldn't do it, of course, in the presence of teachers and parents, but I dealt with it on two occasions. Basically, I beat the bully up, and the bully left me alone. Now, as I see it in my experience as an adult, bullies have gotten smarter. They don't use physical tactics because they know those will result in legal prosecution. And they tend not to do things overtly in public settings where other people can see them. But over time, if you have a group of people who are bullied individually by the same person, everyone comes to realize that person is a bully. But what can you do? If they're not using any physical bullying tactics, then legally you can't do a whole lot. And anybody who's followed the news over, say, the last decade has heard reports from the federal government where people have been bullied in the workplace or harassed. And generally the outcome, in my memory, is the person who's harassing and bullying is promoted, and the person who may be left with long-term disability doesn't receive any special compensation. They might, receive long-term disability payments from their long-term disability plan, but the fact they can never return to work is never compensated in any way beyond long-term disability. And as I mentioned, sometimes the bullying the person who's doing the bullying, they sometimes get promoted to another position, and even if they're officially censured and found to be at fault, they still somehow manage to get a promotion. They don't get fired. That's largely probably because of the way the federal and maybe even provincial governments, how they have unions and such, and you can't just, there's a process. So I experienced that process when I worked for the city of Ottawa. I was in a situation where I reported illegal activity, and then I was bullied without no one, actually one person did assault me, but get this. Because I was a probationary employee, the process of investigations into the people who bullied and assaulted me were dropped the moment they released me from employment. I found out after I was released from employment, as a probationary employee, they can terminate you at any reason or at any time without any particular reason. No cause is necessary. And the moment they did that, all the investigations into the assault and harassment of myself were dropped. That's just the way it's done in the city of Ottawa. So there's different things that cause the non-physical bullying of today to continue. And that's because the process is required to bring a bully to justice. Well, in a unionized environment, it doesn't work because the union is expected to take care of things. And if the bully happens to be somebody who's liked, a member of the, I don't know what you'd call them, the inner circle, anybody on the outer circle who's bullied by that person is, they're not going to find any support because the union won't support the grievance. That plain and simple. And I've seen this, I've talked to a number of people who worked in the federal government here in Ottawa, and I've met a lot of them who are they're no longer able to work. They've been bullied to the point where they can't work anymore, or they've been driven out of the job because their health was being compromised to the point where their doctor basically said, if you don't leave this job, you will become progressively more ill, and there's nothing anybody can do for you. You have to get out of the environment. And when the person tried to approach their employer and say, look, this is a situation that's, inappropriate, whatever, and I can't tolerate it anymore, basically in many cases they're told, well, that's the work environment, that's how it is here, you need to suck it up, grow a thicker skin, those kind of things. So culturally, anybody who's bullied finds it difficult to find support, as I see it right now. I'm not sure exactly how to go about changing that, although when Jamie Hubley, the son of an Ottawa city councillor, died a couple of years ago, I made a video similar to this saying that we needed to make bullying a criminal act. Bullying and harassment, even of the non-physical kind, should be a criminal act. Basically, it should be a hate crime. But I haven't heard anybody really promoting that idea. But I think that's the only way to eradicate bullying as a social norm, is that when people are bullied, that there's a recourse. There's no legal recourse right now for non-physical bullying. And if you work in a private company, maybe, depending if the management of that private company likes you as an employee, then perhaps if you're bullied, you'll get support. But again, if you're not one of the favorite employees, then if you're bullied by somebody who is a favorite employee, you're not going to get any support, in my experience, from what I've observed. So that's my comments. I'd be interested in hearing yours. Have a good day.